Down. 7. Down. 8. 2 more. Push right here. Right here. That's it. Boom. Back. Boom. 21. And 3, 2. Push on it a little bit. Stretch it.
All right, so we brought in Coach Watty. You want to give us a little background about you? I know a lot of people in the industry know you, but a lot of maybe social media people don't know you because you're kind of more of that underground secret.
Yeah, I've been in the industry since 1989, probably coaching since 98. I had my ex-wives have been third at the Olympia figure, started out with figure and bodybuilding, had a bodybuilder, a figure, fitness, and bikini all on the same Olympia stage, and then transitioned over to men's physique, and I had Steve Cook, as you guys mentioned earlier, Alex Carnero and all those guys, Ryan Hughes, I don't remember if you remember him, all those guys, and Jeremy was coming along, and I met him early in his career, and he was kind of the guy I wanted to be with my guys, because he was like defining posing and defining the body, and they didn't know what physique was supposed to be. You're too big, Steve. Can't pose like this. Feet on the line. Yeah. And so Jeremy was the grain, going against the grain and pissing everybody off. Like, dude, everything that they said don't do, he was doing.
But he always kept his feet on the line.
Yep.
Somehow.
He'd twist his body. And then it was like they told us not to be big and hard. Then he would be big and hard. And so he kind of became that movement of like the defining movement of men's physique. Yeah. And it was early on. And then like he said, he looked up to Steve, and then we became a situation where we were chasing him, and it came quick. And then I moved on, and I had a few weeks, so I went from him to Ernest to Soraka, Shabazz, and then, I've had about 20 Olympians, and then Jeremy retired, and I watched him a little bit from afar, and then I think later last year I wanted him to come out, and Colorado's always supported him really big, and I wanted him to come out and give away trophies, and our chairman loves him, and so that's how the conversation started. And then through the next visit, he kind of expressed interest in being back in the sport. And so
all of us coaches from the side were like, who's gonna get him? we all wanted a piece of Jeremy.
like everybody said, I am like one that's really recluse as in coaching. I don't post a lot. I
think you were the best thing, honestly, from the outside. I think you were the best thing for him.
Right.
You know, he didn't need a coach that's gonna be bothered with all this other BS, and I think you're exactly, what he needed. Right. Not only having the expertise, but just you're all business.
And I had the fortunate events of watching Phil win 7 under the same roof that I was under. So I got to watch those, and I tell you, you learn a plethora of knowledge of watching a coach bring in someone like that over and over and over under that roof. And so we had a bunch of people, and so and Phil helped me a lot, as in talking to me through this one, as in the psychological part, because he's like, there's a different thing that you're about ready to do, not just coaching, but there's a lot more to coaching a Mr. Olympia and a return. Yeah. And I didn't think that. I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that.
So how much did Phil Heath have a hand in this? Because I know you've respected him and you were teammates, and I know obviously you've had a long history with him. Did he get involved in kind of making this come together the right way, in some sense?
I mean, Phil was always very, very supportive. I mean, he called us a few times during prep. I spoke to him probably 4 or 5 weeks out, and he just gave me the confidence and just kept telling me, remind them who you are. You remember who you are. That's what he kept telling me. And then I talked to him last week as well. Told me to finish the job strong. And he called me on my birthday too. So Phil's always.
I think he's seen your career from both sides. From behind the scenes a little. Obviously, he was Hani's athlete for a bit, and nobody knew you probably more than that camp.
With me, Phil, I knew Phil when he was a 20-year-old guy. We started I was a bodybuilder since 90, and then he came in, 12 years later. So I knew him as a kid, and I sponsored him. I was his first sponsor for food and all that with my restaurants, and then we competed on the same team together. And he was always on board with this. He from the first time he heard about it, and he kind of guided on how to kind of handle the hurdles that we might have. And so he was, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but there's that personal hurdle you'll go through, the industry hurdle, the business hurdle, and then the relationship hurdle, because we were friends and acquaintances, and then we had to become coach athlete, which was new to both of us. You know.
And how's the transition been, if you don't mind me asking? This is obviously not the same Jeremy. So how has it been? I mean, obviously, I know what I've gone through with some of my top guys. I mean, there's been times we've been in each other's face, and then I got guys that, been through the ringer. Me and Chris, who's watching. An older guy though. He's been through it. He was a pro for 7 years, an OCB pro. He went through it. It was easy coaching, and then you got guys that I would work with that are, their egos and they're really high, like some of my first pros I had, and now they're more humble, and I've turned around and come back to work with some of these people, and it's been good. I think this is obviously a totally different Jeremy from the one I knew when I was 24 years old. So how has it been starting out?
This prep has been really smooth, man. Surprisingly, from an emotional standpoint, I mean, we had our ups and downs, just battling through the injuries and staying mentally strong and actually, believing that we can get through this. But as far as me keeping my cool through this prep and handling my emotions, I feel like I did an amazing job. I mean, it surprised myself, surprised my family, surprised a lot of my friends of how I've been able to stay very level-headed and handle situations real well. And I think that was one of the biggest things. This prep was God wanted to put some tests out in front of me to really see what kind of growing and what kind of change I've really done. And I passed those tests this time around. So
yeah, it's going to show. I mean, it's going to show on stage, and I think I'm glad you guys got together, and I can tell you've been a good force in his life. So.
For me, I think it was just a learning experience of how to, because I knew him from a 4-timer. I didn't know him as a 5-time retired 32-year-old man trying to bat. Yeah. So for me, it was trying to listen to what he was saying and how he's about it, and then learn how to talk to him, because I didn't, I knew how to talk to him.
And that takes experience from a guy that's been around, the industry. I don't think I could have done that 10 years ago as a coach. I know just 7 years ago, how I was as a coach just starting out with my guys. I would kind of, because I still had that athlete mentality in my mind and I still wanted to compete too. But I'm a totally different coach, and I can imagine, with your experience, that's why I go back to my words, you were the perfect fit for him. A guy that was more mature. I don't think some of these younger coaches, even how good they are, could have worked with someone on his level or been through what he has, because there's not guys out there. There is no 4-time Mr. Physique champion. There is no guy that's been there since 2013 till today competing, very few. They're all gone, actually. I don't think there's one person on that first Olympia stage. No.
Is there not one left?
No. So Brandon came the third year in, right?
I think Anton was the last one.
Yeah. So, and Anton didn't compete this year. He was going to.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
Can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah, there's no guy that was on that Olympia stage, or I believe even the second Olympia stage, that's going to be up there today. Well, so different athlete, different,
In doing this journey, I can't say that I didn't ask, even talking to you, I would go through the journey. We saw each other 16 weeks ago and we talked about it, and you gave me advice of how to handle it. I would talk to Ariel from Cuts. I would talk to Omar. And so I must tell everybody, it was a community thing of helping me. Yeah. Not just me going on my own. I was not scared to ask, what do you guys think about this and how this is? And people would give me good advice on what they thought, how I should be, how I should handle. So I leaned on other coaches to see Shane Hoogley, all these guys, and talk to Kim Odo, because I thought this was a big, important event, and we had to handle it because it was a big event for not just Jeremy, but just for the whole industry of MP.
I think Jeremy just going up there and being Jeremy at his best is going to be a huge win, for both of you. And I think that's what everyone just wants to see, him come out and be his personal best. Things have changed, but I really think you guys have done everything. Trust me, as also friend, but also almost a competitor, You know, I want to beat you. You know, we want to beat you that day. I'm looking at everything I can find. You know, I'm trying to pick him apart. I'm looking for flaws everywhere he turns around his video. And you just see the evolution, like he just keeps on evolving, getting better and better. And that's like, I knew when Jeremy was going to be on, he was going to win another Olympia. You just see, because he's not scared to post. You don't see these other guys posting every day. You know why? It's probably a little lack of confidence, in my opinion. You confident the way you're evolving, and you're, you know, each day you're getting up. You want to show. I remember I used to do it all the time. I used to post like when I competed, like every day. I mean, you forget my story. You'd get a check-in every day because I was very happy with my body getting better and better. Guys are scared. You have everybody.
I worked hard to get back to this point. I haven't been back this in a long time.
Yeah, but this is you, man. Like this is. I was waiting. We were all waiting for this. And we know once Jeremy's happy where he's at, this Instagram's gonna get blown up, and he's making everybody go crazy.
I didn't know how far he was behind. I mean, I didn't know where he came from.
You're my highest view and post.
He had showed me his pictures before. He's like, "This is why." I was like, "Whoa, wait, okay, this is a project. This is." I thought, you know.
So before we go, how long did you get to? I know you. When we first talked, I was trying to push you last year. I'm like, "Go, do it." You're like, "No, trust me. I need one more year." I'm like, "Come on, bro. You look good. You're better than you ever been." He's like, "No."
I think we started programming in November, October last year.
It was before Joven
came
out.
When
Joven came out to finish prep with me is when I really started eating more and packing on some more size.
Yeah.
So that was like.
So how's it being a coach and now we're gonna bring him on here in a minute, but I mean he's your competitor now.
I've been by his side since the very beginning. You know, since I met him as an amateur, he won an overall at the show I was visiting in the Philippines, and he blew me away. So I was like, I want to be able to help you. I told him that day that I think that you'll be sharing Olympia stage with me one day, and that was in 2017.
And you're the first tandem to ever do that.
Yeah.
Again, you're creating a lot of history here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big historical Olympia for you.
I'm just proud to be doing with them. You know, the last few years I've been coaching them up and getting them up to this level.
And I know when we talked, you're like, I don't want any more. You're like, I just want one good guy I can do this with and enjoy it. And that was smart. And I always tell guys, like, competing and coaching is very hard. You cannot take on a lot of people. That's why I kind of laugh when I see a lot of these big pros like, yeah, hit me up for online coaching. I'm available. And they're 4 weeks out from Olympia. Sign up now.
It's definitely not easy to coach while you're prepping. And, you know, I don't feel like I'm trying to focus.
When you got one person, but if you had a whole client list.
We're getting through it and we're working together on it, and he's helping too. And we came up with this plan, and, you know, we're just going to execute. So it's just, you know, we're so close right now. It's about just staying level-headed and staying focused, and, you know, trying to keep our nerves as.
You have him here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we have a good dichotomy of talking about Joven and his things we've talked in the past for the Olympia last year, and so we had this good theology of how it's going to happen. Then we talked months and months prior about what this might look like and feel like, where he might be cycling, and then I think we just kind of all came in this tripod and being able to kind of share that information. And even though they're prepping a lot different, you know, I think, it was, you know, and they're coming. I think Joven's done 2 more shows prior to.
He's been prepping for like 3 years straight. He's had a break. So that's why I competed 2 weeks ago in the Philippines to qualify for 24.
I mean, that was a smart move on your guy. It was a great
after this, he can rest,
chess
he can
move
chill.
right there.
Like, his body needs a break, and he's going to be he's going to be even better next year after he rests a little bit too.
Oh yeah, a lot more improvements. He'll be able to grow and rest and rejuvenate. We're going to bring him on here in a second, but yeah, I mean, it's great seeing you again. I'm sure we're going to see each other a lot this week. We're all excited, man. We'll be there front row,
it's finally
cheering
here.
you on.
Thank you.
I saw some of your fans at the airport on a plane today. I think they're here, right?
Yeah.
It was good to see that, you know, seeing the shirts back out there. You know, I remember when it was, you know, fight for 4, you know, go for 3. We had the hats, you know, people had the shirts on. And it's seeing them on the airplane, it was like, you know, they didn't know who I was or the history me and you had. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, he's back. So I'm proud of you, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Watty, thank you for joining. We're going to get Jovan here. Yep.